This is Texans TV.
Today on the show, we go one-on-one with defensive coordinator Lovie Smith and take an in-depth look at how the coaching might affect the Texans in 2021. Don't move a muscle. Texans 360 is now.
We are ready to rock. In Houston. Rock and roll. Oh, let's go!
Guess when you think you've seen it all, there's always something else.
Hello, and welcome into Texans 360. My name is Drew Dougherty. I've got my good friend Deepi Sidhu of HoustonTexans.com, Texans TV, Texans Radio with me. And Deepi, we are here inside Texans Fit. We're going to talk about that in just a moment, but this show is a big one. We're going one-on-one with another one of the newest Texans, plus Deepi and I are going to talk about the impact that the new coaches might have on the squad, plus a one-on-one as well with defensive coordinator Lovie Smith. But here we are in Meyerland. That's the location. There's 3 Texans Fit locations all around town, 110,000 square feet of workout space, and we're in a really unique workout space because this is basically like the combine area where you can do everything that the real pros do. Deepi, you're really in shape. You're the most in shape person on this crew here. So tell us, how cool is this place?
I'm about to do a workout right after this show,
Yep,
Drew. We're going to
good.
run a 40 right now. You didn't know this? I'm just kidding. I'm totally not running a 40. But yeah, this is super exciting. This is the Meyerland location. Just opened this week. This is actually down the street from me. I used to work out here when it was a previous gym. So super excited to see the Texans branding, combine classes, training staff. There's a recovery lounge. Lots to see and do here at the new Texans Fit. It's brand new. You gotta love a brand new gym. All the equipment's brand new. Everything's working. Tons of weights. We're really excited to bring this show. I think we should do more shows from here, Drew.
I'm in, you're in too, and you bring up new equipment, you bring up tons of weights, and that's key because I used to be pretty in shape myself. In fact, I used to go to the gym a lot, and I stopped going because most gyms just didn't have enough weights for me to lift. Where are your 200-pound dumbbells? I need 4 or 5 of them at a time. They didn't have them, they got them here. That's one of the many, many reasons that Texans Fit in Meyerland, in Katy, and Sugarland is just the place to be, isn't it?
Super exciting. Drew, I feel your pain with not having enough weights. You won't have a problem here.
I'm back in the gym now.
I encourage the rest of you that have the same issue as Drew to come sign up as well. 3 locations, like Drew said. The Meyerland one is the one closest to the stadium, so I guess it's the flagship of the 3. But you know what? All the different locations have different facilities, so check them out. Katy, Rosenberg, and now Meyerland. Open this week.
Another guy who could probably lift more weight than I used to is a guy who played linebacker at Tulsa way back when. But you know him more as the new defensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, Lovie Smith. We got a chance to go one-on-one with him, and here's a little bit of that conversation.
Joining me right now is associate head coach and defensive coordinator for your Houston Texans, Lovie Smith. Coach, I got to start with this. I know you've probably been asked this, but I would love to know myself, and I know our listeners would love to know why Houston and why the Texans?
Well, John, you probably know I'm from this state. I'm a product of Texas high school football. And I've had an opportunity to coach in a lot of great places with a lot of good people. But the opportunity to be a part of Coach Culley's first staff back here in my home state, that was an opportunity that just really excited about and couldn't pass up.
Coach, you mentioned David Culley, and we talked to him about bringing you on and the relationship you had. What was the impact of David Culley on your decision to bring you here? And what's that relationship been like over the years, getting to know David Culley, the two of you now joining forces here in Houston?
Well, John, that's what, experience does teach you an awful lot. You've had a chance to be around a lot of people. He was one of the good guys with a bright mind, was really good at what he did. I'm talking about his position, offensive football. We're in this business to win and to be a part of a rebirth, of our program here, of getting it back on top, and to help David to do that. And when somebody gets their first staff and they ask you to be a part of it, that's pretty special.
Is there too much made of the difference between the two schemes of being a 3-4 versus being a 4-3?
Every year I've been in football, I've coached from a basic 4-3 front. So I really have a belief in it. And it's what you believe in as much as anything. I believe in having four defensive linemen that most of the time they're working on things that defensive linemen do. That's important to me. There's a profile that we have at every position from our 4-3. Probably about half of us feel that way. You talk to 3-4 guys, I see a reason why they like to do it. So I just know that this is what we believe in. We feel real good about putting the personnel together to be able to run it.
But if you take the scheme out of it, in your estimation, what's the one thing that your defense has to be able to do or has to have to turn the corner and be a great defense in the NFL?
I still believe in the basic fundamentals of football. The team with the best fundamentals win. The team that plays the hardest. And the next component, though, I think you have to have. The object of the goal is to win football games. And of course, to win, you have to score points. I think you can have that same mindset on the defensive side. One area of improvement that we have to make here with the Houston Texans, we had 9 takeaways last year. You can't win football games that way. There will be an emphasis on it daily by play to get better in that area. You have to be able to stop the run. I mean, so we're going to start with just that, stopping the run. If we can play the run better and take the ball away more, be better on third down conversions, things that lead to points, that's a good starting spot. And how we're going to accomplish that is through competition. We're going to go with what we see on the football field. That should bring out the best in us all.
Coach, you're the best. I'm so glad you're here. I told you before we started that logo looks great. It's a little surreal, I got to admit, but I love seeing it. Coach, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for talking with me, John.
Really good stuff there from Lovie Smith. And, you know, when we heard from him earlier in the offseason, he also talked about the importance of getting turnovers. Now, it's easy to talk about it, much, much harder to do. But in his history as a head coach, at least with the Chicago Bears, his teams were excellent at that.
Yeah, his teams definitely were known for their takeaways. He talked about it in his press conference. It's something that he says he wants to focus on every single day when the team starts practicing here. And you know, the Texans, that's something they really struggled in last year, Drew. I know you were a big proponent of turnover differential, and you were getting more and more depressed as the weeks went by because it seemed like the takeaways just weren't there the way they usually were. The Texans finished with only 9 for the season. That's really a low for them considering how well they had done in previous years. So looking forward to Lovie Smith coming in and really turning things around for the entire defense and getting the turnover differential where you want to see it, Drew Dougherty.
Get it pointed in the right direction, because the Texans were good on offense as far as not turning the ball over, but they were 32nd in the NFL last year. But a couple years back, Charles Omenihu, who's going to be one of the building blocks for this defense, he got a pretty big turnover in a win at Kansas City. We're breaking it all down in the film room. This is a big game. This might have been the signature win of the Texans' 2019 season, Week 6. They're at Kansas City. Kansas City was looking pretty rough, looking pretty good, and you hung with them the whole game, and you kind of choked them out there at the end. But one of the reasons why was this Charles Omenihu sack, play of the year for the rookie.
Yeah, no doubt. 17-16 at this point, and the Texans had just thrown an interception in the end zone. Because it was the end zone, it came out to the 20, but it was a 4th down play. So had Juan Thornhill knocked the ball down, the Chiefs would have had the ball out here at about the 40. That's 20 yards difference. And that makes a difference on this play, because as we go to the Microsoft Surface, Patrick Mahomes, you'll see, he's trying to get downfield to get some points before half. That's what forces him to hold the ball a little bit longer than he wanted to. That's what allows Charles Omenihu to get into the backfield for the sack. So you'll see some motion here by the Chiefs. Mecole Hardman kind of going back and forth, trying to get a read. And with Phil Gaines doing this, you know it's man coverage. So Mahomes knows, hey, I want to take a shot. I'm going to try and get some of that back and get ourselves a field goal attempt. So he's holding the ball a little bit longer than he should. And because he does, bang, there's the sack right there. Ball's out, Texans get on it. Let's take a look at it from this angle right here. And you'll see Charles Omenihu, those 30,000-inch arms. He's unbelievable. He's right here over the center. And all he does, throw a little move on that center, hit him with a little rip, club over, and away he gets to Patrick Mahomes. This is an excellent rush right here. There it is. Get that hands off you, and then he's going to go get that football out. And you can see Mahomes, he is looking down the field. He wants to hit something further down the field. If that ball's around the 40-yard line, maybe he takes the 10-yard gain. But he doesn't want that. He wants Kelsey here for like 15 to 20, or he wants something even further. That forces him to hold it. That lets Charles get that ball out of there, big fella. That is a huge play, and maybe the play of Charles Omenihu's young career.
Texans would score a touchdown a play or two later, take the lead, they'd hold on, and they would get a big, big win on the road in Week 6. Welcome back to Texans 360. Deepi, me, Drew, here at Texans Fit in Meyerland. If you work out here, people are going to say, whoa, what happened to your lats? They're enormous. But talking about players getting better, getting more enormous in terms of improving on the field, I think coaching could go a long way towards making that happen. And we heard from Lovie Smith in the previous segment. Lots of changes on the defensive side of the ball. Getting guys in position to get those turnovers will be huge. But overall, defensively, where do you think coaching might help these guys?
I mean, certainly, you've got a lot of new players coming to the building, so I think it's hard to see until you see the players out on the field, but I think, like you said, Lovie Smith just taking over the defense. I think the biggest change obviously going to be from going from a 3-4 to a 4-3 front, and seeing how the personnel that you had before that fit into the 3-4, how they adjust to fit into the 4-3 scheme. So I think I'm really looking at the front seven more than anything. Obviously, the secondary needs a lot of work. You've got a lot of players that you brought in, probably about a dozen defensive backs now joined the squad, more or less. So the entire defense is going to be important, but I'm really looking at the front seven to see how that shapes up.
And then on the flip side of the ball, I know a lot of folks are excited about two main new coaches in particular, Pep Hamilton with the passing game, and then James Campen up front on the offensive line. Now, they brought a lot of bodies in at both those spots too, or both those areas of the game as well, and it's going to be fascinating to see their impact. Campen, he's got quite the pedigree, won a Super Bowl ring, coaching the offensive linemen in Green Bay, so going to be fun to see what he can do with the crew up front here.
Yeah, I think if you're a Texans fan, you're really excited about this because the offensive line, it's no secret, it's really struggled in recent years, and you didn't know if it was personnel, if it was the scheme, or if it was a combination of both. And now at least you've got a new face in the coaching staff. You've got James Campen, like you mentioned, who takes over. You've got a few new players, and then you want to see if Max Sharping, guys like him, as well as Titus Howard, they're entering year 3. They didn't really make that jump from year 1 to year 2 that you had hoped for. So you're hoping that they can really turn things around, and you can see glimpses of what you saw from them their rookie year, because you know that the potential's there. Maybe it's just a matter of coaching, maybe it's scheme, maybe it's putting them all together, the entire 5 starting line, and seeing what they look like. But I think Texans fans obviously very excited about that. And like you mentioned, Pep Hamilton, along with Tim Kelly, we saw how powerful this offense was last year. I'm excited to see what Pep Hamilton brings to the table. Obviously, he's worked with Andrew Luck and lots of big quarterbacks in the past. But Tim Kelly, he knows this offense. He knows the personnel. You've got Brandon Cooks, you've got David Johnson. You've got a lot of guys on this squad that, you want to see what they can do this year. And you bring the old with the new, and hopefully you can build on some of the success you had last year.
All right, good stuff. We heard from one of the new additions on the coaching side earlier in Lovie Smith, and after the break, we're going to hear from a new player as well. It's one-on-one time here on Texans 360. Don't move. We're back. Texans 360 coming at you from Texans Fit in Meyerland. Drew Dougherty, Deepi Sidhu, and one of many new faces for the Houston Texans up front on the defense is Jordan Jenkins. Pretty excited to see him here, huh?
Yeah, he was so smiley and happy to be here. He's got a lot of family in Houston, so it's the first time that he's going to be playing for a team other than the New York Jets. So year 6 for the linebacker. He brings physicality, aggressiveness, a violent nature to the game. I wrote a story about it on HoustonTexans.com. It's hard to marry those two when you see him talking to the media because he's just so happy-go-lucky and he just seems like such an easygoing guy. But on the field, the numbers really show themselves. He led the Jets in sacks in back-to-back seasons. He had double-digit quarterback hits in 18 and 19. Last year, he dealt with a shoulder injury that didn't quite lead him to the campaign that he wanted. He's hoping to bounce back here in 2021.
And he had some good things to say in this one-on-one.
All right, joining us right now at Texans Radio. Can't wait for this. Been following this guy for a long time, dating back to his days as a dog at the University of Georgia. It's linebacker Jordan Jenkins. Jordan, welcome to the show. Welcome to Houston, and I will start right there. Houston means something to the Jenkins family, and I've been reading a little bit about you really wanted to be back in Houston, so I'll ask you straight out, why Houston and why the Texans?
Houston's a place that has a lot of history to me and my family. I was born here. Me and my sister were born here. We were both born at St. Joseph's Hospital. I always wanted to play in Houston because all my family's here. You know, it would save all the money instead of having to fly all the way across the country and things like that. But, you know, I'm excited, man. I like what Nick and Nick's put together. I mean, it seems like everybody on the staff is just high strung, good energy, and just is down there and ready to get after it.
Jordan, for people that haven't seen you play, and I've seen you play a bunch in college and in the NFL, what do you bring to the table? What do you want Texans fans to know about you, the player, the guy out on the field that they're going to see each and every Sunday?
I mean, for Texas fans that haven't seen me, I just like to say, first and foremost, I'm an old school guy. You know, like I said, my dad was in the military for 20 years, so it was that had a direct impact on my upbringing and how I approach things on the field. And I'm nice off the field, but on the field, I'm trying to be as mean as I can be and be as destructive as I can be. And I just try and wreak havoc. I'm just physical, and I try and run through people instead of going around.
I know you talked about Nick Caserio and what's being built here. How much of, whoa, man, look at the players they're adding. Look what they're doing. How much was that a part of your decision? Obviously, Houston means a lot. But then on top of it, you're seeing a guy who has been very successful in the NFL, the Patriots, now building this in Houston. How much did all that kind of work together to make your decision, I would think, relatively easy to come back home?
It's exactly like you said. When I flew down here, when free agency started, I met with Nick, and I could tell from the meetings we had, he just was the straight shooter that had a lot of high energy and a lot of respect. And that he meant what he said when he wanted a team full of guys that are like-minded and guys that'll go to battle for their brothers on the left and brothers on the right, and that don't have high egos. Like everyone that he's went after and everyone on the staff is just high character guys that generally just want to work to get better and want to compete and just want to see each other get better and get stronger and just be successful.
What does a guy that's been around the NFL, that's been successful as a head coach, as a defensive coordinator, how important is that to your decision to come to Houston too, and to be able to play for a guy with such a long track record as Lovie Smith?
Yeah, my dad actually followed his coaching career too over the last 5 to 10 years. But I met with him also before I made the decision to come, and I mean, he has the same mindset that Nick has in regards to they just want guys that give the extra mile. We were watching clips from some games. It's just a whole lot of effort plays. He said, this right here, this is what we want. He said his whole career had a chip on his shoulder, and I've got a big chip on my shoulder over the last couple of years as well.
One of your newest Texans, Jordan, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and welcome back to Houston.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Glad to be back.
Coming up on Texans 360, we're giving away money to those who need it. Don't go anywhere.
Today we're dedicating our playground. We're doing the groundbreaking ceremony. Pretty exciting time for the kids. Janice McNair was able to provide a $50,000 donation to the Mission of Yahweh. We've got the money in place to build the playground, and so we've been getting ready for that, trying to get a lot of the area cleaned out, ready for the space to be designed and developed so that we could accommodate a playground. Oh yeah, we just are so excited about having the McNairs involved with the mission and all their longtime support. Having the Texans involved with the Mission of Yahweh is really special. It couldn't be a nicer thing for us as an organization.
We're back on Texans 360. We're coming at you from Texans Fit in Meyerland. That's why we're in this different location with Deepi Sidhu. I'm Drew, and we are so happy that you're with us because the Texans have done some nice things in the community like they do on a regular basis, but this time they're looking to bridge that digital divide, Deepi.
Yeah, it's so important, especially in the age of COVID, where so many kids were learning virtually, learning from home. They didn't have the equipment, or maybe they didn't have the connection. And then the parents, a lot of them weren't able to help their kids learn and succeed the way that they would in a normal traditional classroom. So such a great cause, and so great that the Texans were able to give back to the students that really needed it most.
That's right. And here's a snapshot of what recently went down.
We had a pretty cool opportunity today to travel around Houston and go to 3 different nonprofits and surprise them with $10,000 checks to aid them with different technology needs that they may need to help with their students and the families of the students.
Young Women's Leadership Challenge program here in Texas. Focuses on empowering high school girls to get to and through college and live their best life possible. This technology grant is opening up the program to high school girls in the Houston area.
We are an in-school, out-of-school male mentorship program. We provide the students with all different types of opportunities and various things to engage themselves and learn and become better young men and responsible men in their community.
So I know this money will help us very much to continue to bridge that divide and make sure that the students that we serve and the community that we serve is not left behind as technology continues to progress and be used more prevalently in our schools.
As you can see, turn around here. You have won the Digital Divide Grant of $10,000 from the Houston, Texas Foundation. Everybody clap it up.
We're basically a multidisciplinary human service agency. We have few core services such as education that covers from early childhood all the way to ESL, adult education. With the support from the Texans Foundation, the money will be very much used for getting the right equipment. We want to make sure also we open up our lab. We're going to upgrade our lab so that even parents, if they need to use the computer for any business or even to help their children homework, we're actually going to open up after hours for even the families.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. Here at Texans Fit in Meyerland, this place is enormous. No matter what you want to do, workout-wise, they have it, whether it's in the pool, doing weights, cardio, et cetera, classes. This is really fun. Next week, though, we're going to be back in the Ford Studios. You going to be back again sometime soon?
I will be back, Drew, but I think first you and I need to have a little 40-yard dash here, I'm just saying.
I'm already conceding defeat. She's fast. She's really fast. It's true.
Wearing heels.
Thanks to the crew that put this all together, Tyler, Nick, and Mitchell. Till next time, we'll see you. Go Texans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.